Welcome to the Final Buzzer Podcast. On this week's edition, we will be talking about a recap of Week 3. We're going to be doing a lightning round prediction of the upcoming week in the NFL, and we're also going to be talking about all of our sports news and sports stories and so much more.
This week in our predictions, we went 8 for 8. Some wonderful games went down. Some of them we couldn't have guessed. But, as you can see, all of our favorite teams all lost this week. Bengals losing to the Panthers. Cowboys, absolute abysmal loss to the Seahawks. And Ryan Fitzmagic just couldn't do it. Turned into Ryan Fitzpatrick tragic this week. What do you guys think about your all's team's losses this week?
I'm extremely disappointed. Mainly because the Panthers were out 3 offensive linemen. And you would think with Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap, we would get to Cam Newton more than just once. The defensive line being abysmal. Joe Mixon was really missed. Our offensive coordinator, for some reason, refused to let Mark Walton, get out and run. He had one run, and he looked really good and really explosive. He got called back for a holding. Obviously, that's something the Bengals were great at, is getting penalties to go against us.
And not winning playoff games, too.
Yeah, that too. We don't talk about that, though. And then, so basically, every time Giovanni Bernard came out, they knew we were going to run it. And every time Mark Walton came out, they basically knew it was going to be a play-action pass. So everything was telegraphed. It was a, hard-fought game. We really shot ourselves in the foot. We had about 3 opportunities in the fourth to come back and win.
All right, let's go ahead and see what the excuse they have for the Cowboys.
All right, so I'm not going to lie. There's no excuse for the Cowboys, Our offensive coordinator is absolute trash. Like, he had one good game, and then everybody was, calling for us to make the playoffs. But, he showed in this week that he just knows how to call plays against the Giants. And a team, he knows how to call plays against a team that has a weak defense. And, the Seahawks defense is a pretty mediocre one. So, we got to work on that a little bit. I like to play from our defensive front. We looked really good. We looked really good against an offensive line that struggles. Our linebackers played pretty well. Our secondary was probably the downfall. Our offense still struggling. A lot of people are calling for Dak to, for us to, just pay out Dak. But I don't believe it. I believe in the hype around Dak. He, you saw it in week 2 against the Giants. He can call out, the blitzes and the coverages and all that. He's a great quarterback. He's just got to have a group of receivers that he can get around. That's why the Cowboys just recently picked up Bryce Butler. Hopefully we can get that train rolling again. If not, we'll be going 1-15.
As for the Bucs, it's kind of rough, man. I mean, not really a whole lot you can do there. Of course, we struggled with penalties this game, and we also struggled on the defensive side of the ball, letting Big Ben just absolutely tear us apart. But as far as improvement goes, man, I mean, sometimes you're just going to have rough games, and that's just how it works out sometimes. I think the offense could have been better. That's why I don't really care too much for the offenses that fully rely on explosiveness, because you see several times where Ryan Fitzpatrick just can't complete those 3rd and 10 plays when first and second down they're going across the field. So it makes it rough to win games that way. But I do believe that we still have a bright future. Hoping we can keep on going. We're still at the top of the division right now, so don't hold our heads down too far yet. But I am excited for this year so far. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about real quick, kind of my story of the week, really. Rookie quarterbacks coming in. 3 of the 4, whatever it may be, all but Lamar, the quarterbacks they drafted in the first round, have been playing. Baker Mayfield, obviously, got the starting job there in Cleveland. Josh Allen there with the Bills. Rosen in Arizona actually just won the starting job over Sam Bradford, which is a big play. But I'm super excited to see what these young guys do. Of course, the Jets are still rocking with their rookie quarterback and everything like that as well.
Speaking of the Browns, they get their first win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not a loss. I mean, that's big news for them. But like I said, you still, in order for this year to be successful, they definitely don't want to finish at the bottom of the division. But I feel like not necessarily playoff bound, but I feel like they need to at least be in that running. I don't think they need to work to not be last in the division. And right now they're over the Patriots, which is a big play for them. Granted, the Patriots almost never start out good, but they're working to improve that as well.
Well, see, I don't know because I think this season's already a win for the Browns. I mean,
I don't think a win is considered a win
And I
for the
mean,
season.
it's a start.
It's a start. That's exactly what it is.
Depending on
It's a
how
start.
Baker plays, though, you could have your quarterback for the future, like for the next 10 to 15 years. Like Baker looked good against the Jets.
What is it? He's like the 18th quarterback in 5 years or something like that. Everyone's been since Tim Couch. The people have been saying, "Oh, it's QB of the future." I mean,
No. But I'm just saying. But nobody has put up numbers like Baker Mayfield has last night, or not last night, on Thursday night.
Patrick Mahomes. Or
No.
Ryan
None of the
Fitzmagic
Browns
and-
quarterbacks have. They've looked decent, but none of them have like. So say he doesn't have three drop passes. He goes 20 for 23. That's amazing.
But he did have 3 drop passes.
Okay, but that wasn't his fault. Okay, he had 6 incomplete passes, and he came in halfway through a game. Like, if you're telling me that that's not an amazing feat.
Well, see, that's what's impressive to me is coming in mid game because, and an offense really is the quarterback's like the focal point, right? Everything runs through him. So once offensive line has to adjust to each quarterback. Tyrod Taylor being a more mobile quarterback, they have a little more flexibility with if they miss a guy, then he can get out of the situation. Baker Mayfield, he's a pocket passer. At least to me, I think he'll be most effective as a pocket passer. So they have to really hone in and make sure that they're getting the best protections they can. Yeah. And then Baker let it fly, and he looked great. And I think that mid game adjustment, that's just the start of how good he can be when he gets a full preparation of I'm coming in, I'm starting this week. From the start, he's going to know that he gets to start, and I think that's going to be a big deal to him, confidence-wise and chemistry-wise for the entire team.
Yeah, and like you said, he's more starting out. He's more effective as a pocket passer. In college, he was kind of the person that would be the playmaker that would scramble out of the pocket, and he tried that in the game, but he ended up getting a strip sack, and the center picked it up and ran 10 yards, and then got called back. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like eventually he'll look like he did in college, the best quarterback that we've seen in a while. I think that he gives the Browns a bright future. I don't think that they wasted their number 1 overall pick on him whatsoever, and their 4th overall pick is, Denzel Ward is making so many plays. He's for sure on my board for defensive rookie of the year.
Absolutely.
So you go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's a quote from the front office there in Cleveland. They drafted Baker Mayfield ready for him to start, but more in the fact, not necessarily ready to start. They knew Baker Mayfield was ready, but they wanted to make sure that everyone else was ready for Baker Mayfield. They wanted to make sure they had everything situated with the line, with everything like that. They wanted to put Baker Mayfield in the best spot to succeed, and I think they did a good job with that. I think Tyrod was able to come out, install some leadership. But I think it might have been a little bit more rushed than what they thought. Granted, I think regardless if Tyrod gets that concussion or not, I feel like Baker Mayfield almost goes in though. Tyrod struggled in that first half, and I think they just saw a great opportunity for Baker to start, and I think it was a good call by Hugh Jackson and especially John Dorsey and everyone in that organization to go ahead and let him play.
So I have 2 comments back. I 100% agree with you that once the speed of the NFL, he gets more used to it. I think he is going to be able to run. Not to compare, but Aaron Rodgers is really mobile. Ben Roethlisberger does a great job of he's anywhere you need him to be. Yeah. He can stay in there and take the hit, or at the last second, which we saw against tonight, he was almost sacked in the 4th quarter, and he was able to get away. With hardly any room to spare, he was able to get away and get a pass off. And I think as Baker becomes more comfortable, maybe not as good, the kid's got a bright future.
Yeah, for sure. It's nowhere else but up for the Browns organization. We've said that. Well, I mean, there's obviously nowhere else.
There is nowhere else to go
from,
but up
from 0-16. Yeah, but I mean, I'm excited to see where what happens with this Browns team. The next game of the week, my game of the week was the Titans and the Jaguars. It was a defensive showdown. The final score was 9-3, only field goals. This game was amazing. If you're a true football fan and you love defensive play, this is your game. Marcus Mariota hopped in. He hopped in the game. I think after halftime, he came off of the bench. and he led the team to 3 consecutive field goals, which won them the game. It was an amazing game. I think it was the game of the week. It's underrated. The score wasn't as fancy as everybody would like, but that's what I like to see as a football fan.
Do we want to talk about the Saints and the Falcons, just the back-to-back, like, scoring efforts by both teams?
Exactly opposite of what the Titans game looked like. It was more of an offensive. It was an absolute gunslinging match between Drew Brees and Matt Ryan. And at the end of the day, you lose that fight to Drew Brees every day. Just recently, I think he was now he's 3rd overall for most passing, or most is he just passed he's number 1 for completions, and he's 3rd for receiving or for passing yards. And he's still got a little while to go. He's only like 100-something away from beating Peyton Manning and maybe John Elway or something else.
He has 415 yards to beat Peyton Manning.
Yep, and so Drew Brees is an absolute gunslinger. I don't know how many years he's necessarily got left, but he's an athlete. Ran in for 2 touchdowns himself. He put the team on his back.
Put him on a spin move.
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
Michael Vick.
Yeah, looking like it.
Okay.
He obviously knows that the run is not there right now. Don't know really what's going on. We've mentioned several times Alvin Kamara. What's going on really? He's better out of the back, coming out of the backfield receiving balls than I guess taking it and running with it. But Drew Brees obviously saw that hole there. They start playing softer on the coverage and things like that, so he was able to scramble for a little bit and even get 2 touchdowns out of it.
And what about the Bills coming in and just impressing everybody? Really, I mean, I know it's it's the Bills, and we don't really know what we're getting, but 27-6 for a team that
a pretty hefty win.
Was supposed to get shut out.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch it? I was not able to watch the game.
I wasn't able to watch it, but I looked at the stats, and Josh Allen went off.
I did see the hurdle, but that's the thing. Because I wasn't able to see the game. I want to know more if it's the Bills doing very well or the Vikings playing very poorly. Because if you look at it, every team who's come off a tie. When you had week 1, the Browns versus Steelers, they both came back the next week in week 2 and lost. The Vikings and Packers both lost this week. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I guess that those tie games, those OT games, are becoming a struggle for some teams.
Well, just Josh Allen went 15 for 22 with 196 yards with 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions.
That's really not that impressive.
I mean, but it's impressive for him for his first start.
And LaShawn McCoy was out, correct? I believe he is with the legal. With the legal trouble, I think he's out. So someone obviously picked up the rock and ran with it. I mean, I don't know.
Chris Ivory had 56 rushing yards on 20 attempts. That's not
good.
Yeah.
It must be the defense, I guess. Like I said, we weren't able to watch the game. We should have done a little bit more information on that. But I guess the Vikings just kind of fizzled out, even with all those offensive weapons that they got.
I mean, Kirk Cousins, though, 40 for 55 with 296 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. I mean, he threw 30 more times than Josh Allen did.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, I don't know. I feel like he only threw 1 interception. I don't know. I feel like that's just an effective offense playing. Because, I mean, the defense, they played pretty all right for Buffalo. They were okay.
I mean, Buffalo shut them out until the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
The Vikings didn't score until the 4th quarter. And even then, Buffalo scored – the struggle with Buffalo, they scored all their points in the first half.
Yeah.
And they didn't score in the 3rd and 4th quarter, which, like I said, you got to be able to score throughout the game. You can't just not score in the second half of football because that's how you get people come back and upset you. So I think they still got a long way to go. I definitely don't see them in any means being better than the Vikings. I feel like if they play again, that the Vikings swipe them. I mean, I just feel like they just weren't almost ready for that.
And I guess the last game I would like to talk about is just the Patriots dropping the ball, losing 10-26 to the Lions. This is the Lions' first win, by the way, as well. Coming up against a tough team.
The Patriots have kind of just dropped the ball, like you said, against last week against the against the Jags. People just thought it might have been a one-off thing, but coming in, losing to Detroit against the old defensive coordinator, that's rough. And like I said, I always called it. I really like the defense they got there in Detroit. They kept Tom Brady to less than 150 passing yards, which is ridiculous for Tom Brady.
133.
Yeah, they came under 150, which in this league is you're basically just handing the ball off every time. It was absolutely beautiful defensive play by the Lions in that. Before we do move on to next week, I just want to bring it to attention just the absolute man that Patrick Mahomes has come into. Mm-hmm. He has more thrown touchdowns than all NFC East quarterbacks combined. He has 13. Alex Smith has 4, Eli 3, Dak for only 2, Carson Wentz for 1, Nick Foles for 1. So he has 13. The rest of the NFC East has 11.
So do we see him slowing down at any point?
Generally,
As of right now, I don't see him slowing down. Like, next week they play Denver. It's it's a good defense, but I don't know.
Time.
Yeah, I just don't see him slowing down. Probably till I'll give him till week 6 to start slowing down.
I don't see him necessarily slowing down, but I see defensive getting better. Like I said, you got the first week. Passing attempts always get a little bit more shoddy during the winter months with the temperature and things like that. Defenses start to settle in a little bit more. I think he's playing very well right now, but I don't see this being manageable. I think right now he's projected for like 70 touchdowns. Passing touchdowns would be breaking the record. I don't see him doing that. Granted, he has a lot of offensive weapons out there in Kansas, but I don't see anything crazy like that happening.
I think it'd be hard for anybody to keep up this pace.
Yeah.
Especially not, a fairly new guy coming in. I think, is this his sophomore year?
Yes.
Okay, so it's his sophomore year. Which is the complete opposite of having a sophomore slump. He's just out there killing it. But I just think it'd be hard for anybody to come in and just maintain this kind of a pace.
Yeah. Well, even the people that have been in the league forever, Aaron Rodgers has never looked like this.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know.
Tom
Records
Brady,
meant to be broken.
Yeah, Tom Brady's never looked like this. Roethlisberger's never looked like this. Like, this is a new thing that everybody's watching, and it's amazing. Like, he's carving his own path, and if it keeps up the way it is, he's for sure a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Okay. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
We'll start off with the predictions of the Thursday night game, Minnesota and the Rams. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Rams.
I got Rams.
I say it every week. They're going undefeated.
Ooh, not about all that, but I got Rams this week, though.
I think the Rams have a wonderful offense. You see that they actually just have a little bit of chip in their defense with Marcus Peters coming out. But I think Minnesota had a kind of a slump game. Last week, the Vikings running back combined for 4 total carries, all of their running backs, which is the lowest total in NFL history since it's been recorded. I think they look back on that and realize that's a mistake. I'm a firm believer in running the rock. I don't think you can be successful without running the ball. Hopefully they look into that and come back. I do have Minnesota based on the defense. I don't think LA's actually had to play a hard defense this year. They played Oakland, the Cardinals, and the Chargers, which none of them have exceptional defenses like Minnesota does, in my opinion. So I feel like they struggle. I feel like it's a close game, though. Absolutely one of the games of the week.
I definitely have the Rams. Todd Gurley's a monster.
All right. 3-1 sweep to LA.
All right. Next game we can go to is the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. I don't know. I'm really doubting this Dallas team, and it's really bad when I say that. It's pretty rough down there in Dallas. Just nobody's clicking on the same page. Zeke had over 100 rushing yards last game. He had 127 against the Seahawks, and we still lost. And we got thumped last week. It's pretty bad. Dak can only do so much for the team. I think that Detroit wins this game. It'll be a close game, but I just don't think Dallas has the chemistry to beat Detroit.
I have Dallas coming out and winning this one. Even despite Detroit coming in and getting W, still don't have very high hopes for them. Not to say that I have high hopes for Dallas, but Dak and Zeke, I think eventually they're going to start, going again, and everything's going to start clicking. Whether that's sooner or later, I don't really know. I'm thinking it's going to be sooner, so I have Dallas this game.
I'm going to go with Detroit. Last game against the Patriots, they had their first 100-yard rusher since 2014. You win the game. It's since Matthew Stafford's been playing, every time he's had a 100-yard rusher, he's 8 for 1 in 9 games that he's ever had that. I think they run all over your Dallas Cowboys, to be honest. I think the running back combo easily combines for 100 rushing yards. I just think Detroit has, like I said, I love their defense. Their offense is getting better day by day, week by week. I have Detroit coming out and beating Dallas with missing pieces on the Dallas part of it.
Do you think that they find a way to stop our pass rush, though? That's probably...
You have a great point. Dallas says their pass rush is very underrated.
That's the only thing that has really surprised me so far this year is our pass rush. With Jordan Crawford, Taco Charlton, all of them, all those big names. We just paid most of them. I don't know. If Sam Bradford can stay away from the pass, then yeah, it's for sure all Detroit.
We'll definitely see. I still think, like I said, I'm all for Detroit. I think it's going to come down to their last man over here, Jack. And if not, we'll have their wild tiebreaker there, Noah.
I have Detroit. They're coming off. They're going to have the momentum coming out of beating New England. Really, that's 90% of my reason why. They're coming off a high game. Dallas has already been struggling a lot. Granted, Detroit hasn't had the best season up to this point, but it's a huge W they just got.
What do you think, Noah? You have the Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford, the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott.
I'm going to go with the Lions because I like cats.
All right. I like it.
All right, next game, the Bengals and the Falcons, AFC and NFC.
More cats.
I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. The Falcons really haven't shown much to give me. Julio's having a pretty okay year. Matt Ryan isn't having his MVP year. That Atlanta defense is kind of showing where they're great at. But I don't know, the Bengals team after that loss, I don't know, I feel like they just click on cylinders.
So I had the Bengals this week, and last week was a tough loss. Cam Newton's a great quarterback, and we knew coming in that such a dual threat, it's hard to play against. But then Christian McCaffrey really came in, and who has struggled as a running back, came alive that game and actually torched us. So, but I think we have a bounce back game. I think Andy Dalton's frustrated. He threw 4 picks, one of which was completely John Ross's fault. Gave one play. This is starting to become a piece of his character, and it's a little unsettling to me. He did this last year, and he got benched because of it. And then I think he's done it twice this year. He's just given up on a play, and it's led to an interception. Even if you can't catch it, you can make a play. You could even swat it away. Get anything except for interception is ideal. But I think we're coming back. We're going to be pissed. Atkins and Geno.
Atkins and Geno.
Okay, so Geno and Dunlap. Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. They're going to come in. They're going to be, they should be upset with themselves. They, I think, got the Cam Newton one time, which I think it caused a fumble. We didn't recover it, but it caused a fumble. And I think they're going to be irritated with themselves. They're going to want to come back and prove that we still have a dominant defensive line.
So I have a question for you. John Ross really hasn't done much this year, in the regular season. Do you think that, eventually, Cincinnati just says enough is enough and just moves him straight to special teams? Because, obviously that would be his specialty due to his speed.
Yes, I do, because he was brought in to me to be the secondary receiver, take pressure off A.J. Green.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. Instead, Tyler Boyd has came out, and he's basically caught everything that's been thrown at him.
Yeah.
He's coming alive, and he looks great. And they said at practice and in these games, he thinks of himself as a lead receiver. He's like, he obviously, he knows A.J. Green is the best, but, I think he personally doesn't feel that he's that far behind. He's got a lot to prove, but, he's outperforming John Ross every day. And, I'd be interested to see John Ross, returning kicks. If that's all you got is your speed and you can't get open, then
especially as a slot too. Like I don't think John Ross is a 2 guy. At least not this year. He's not showing it. Maybe give him a shot at the slot and then try special teams if he can't do anything there. But
all I know is I'm extremely disappointed with what I've seen.
Yeah.
I thought player development was really going to be a really big key for us, and Joe Mixon's come out and impressed.
Oh yeah.
We are on fire when Joe Mixon plays.
Yeah.
John Ross, you can't say the same. Not even close to the same impact. I think he's maybe has 4 or 5 catches this year so far. 1 for a touchdown, a 3-yard touchdown. But
all right, so
I'm going with Atlanta. Like I said, the Bengals, like you said, Bengals disappointed. And to your saying that Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons are, I guess, not very good in the red zone or whatever. Matt Ryan threw for 5 touchdowns last week against the Saints. Absolutely had a monster game. I think he's going to try and ride that high into it. He played good, but it was still a loss at the end of the day against an absolute stellar Steelers defense, or against stellar Steelers offense who basically won the game. But, like I said, as long as Bengals can get up and score, Atlanta can't beat them. It's going to be a battle of who can score the most points. So A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd is going to have great games.
I have one question for you.
Need to have great games.
Joe Mixon has came out and said he's going to play as soon as possible.
Is he playing?
And potentially, I don't know. He said he may only miss this one game. If he plays, does your view change?
Yes, because I think he runs over that Atlanta defense. I still think it's going to be a shootout. I don't think there's a lot of defense to be played there. Cincinnati has, in my opinion, the better defense of the two, but I still feel like they both have explosive offensive, and it's going to end up another high score game for the Falcons that they may end up losing.
I don't know. I feel like this game comes down to who throws the ball more, because both teams have great defensive fronts.
And I think the receiving core on the Falcons is better, in my view.
I mean,
you have Trevor Coleman, Calvin Ridley, Julio, Mohamed Sanu, Austin Hooper. I just think that's a solid lineup.
Well, let's not forget that Joe Mixon's a dual threat as well.
Yeah,
He said
he is.
throwing the ball
Absolutely.
more.
Yeah.
He may, if he stays healthy, I think it's already been said, he may go for 1,000 and 1,000.
Yeah.
I could see it. Yeah,
I could see it.
absolutely.
So-
But like I said, he just needs to come back I would rather, not as a Bingham fan, but I would, as someone who enjoys seeing him play, I would rather him sit out this game if he's not 100%.
Yeah.
And
And
come
I
back
would
when he's
agree.
100%.
I'd rather him play only at 100%. But, if he wants to come back, though, and, we need him. We need him in a bad way. If he's okay to come back and the medical staff clears him, I'm down with him coming back.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
get that.
So we got the Bengals.
Jack has to.
I got the Bengals.
Okay, well, there we go. That's
Yeah,
fair.
for sure the Bengals.
All right.
Two for those cats.
Woo!
I'm going to do my team real quick with Tampa Bay, Chicago. This is definitely going to be a rough game. Our offensive line is looking okay. I don't think it'll be good against that Bears defense, a.k.a. Khalil Mack. I think we got a shot. It's going to be a struggle. It's definitely going to be a close game. It's going to probably be a low-scoring game as well. I feel like our defense takes advantage of Mr. Trubisky's youth and absolutely makes a fool out of him. I feel like it's one of his worst games. So I believe in Tampa Bay, and I always think they're going to come out on top on this one.
This is the last game of Ryan Fitzmagic, potentially, right?
No,
No, it
Winston's
would've been
back
this game.
this week.
Okay.
He is back this week, but I would put
I thought it
money
was a
on it.
4-week
He's not
bye, that's
starting.
why.
Yeah, I would put money
Gotcha.
he's not starting.
Got you.
I have the Bears.
Also-
Not to say that I don't like what Tampa Bay's doing, because I really do. I really like that they're coming out and just basically they're showing everybody we're here to play. And
We
Fitzpatrick-
got
the
to
game
win. We got to win a turnover battle. That's why we lost tonight against the
Fitzpatrick
Steelers.
is throwing for 400
So you got to
in
win a
every
turnover
single game.
battle, but then you're going against Khalil Mack, who is just he's just
Absolute
taking
turnover.
the ball.
Exactly.
He's having an amazing year. That's why I'm choosing the Bears.
Same.
Just that defense. I don't think that the Buccaneers have gone against a defense like it. This has the potential to be the Bears' shining moment as to where they're this is where we found ourselves. This is the game where we showed that we're going to be a wild card team, and I just believe that the team is so good that you don't need Mr. Trubisky to perform well in order to perform well in order for them to win games. They're at the top of their division right now.
Both teams are.
I feel like it's nowhere else. The Bears are only on an upwards slide. I feel like maybe Winston starts. Might start a couple locker room controversy with him trying to start. I don't know though. But-
I think the team has Fitzpatrick's back right now,
Yeah.
because he's came out and done nothing but great stuff so far.
They're going to play the hot hand right now. Like I said, if he comes out and plays like he did for the first half against the Steelers game, he'll be replaced in the second half, throwing 3 picks and everything like that. Granted, he led a heck of a attempt at a comeback anyways. But Jameis is going to be there ready to take the reins. He is definitely the quarterback of the future. But I'm still going to ride with Ryan Fitzpatrick right now.
Well, I watched the game, and there were a few times where those interceptions weren't his fault.
Yeah.
His receivers gave up.
There was one where it was batted
there was
away,
one where
batted
it
up
was-
in the air. But like I said,
Because his offensive lineman
was-
missed the block.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. It was more of a hand to the face or whatever. Got it in the way. But he underthrew Mike Evans, I know, twice, and Deshaun Jackson once. And if you hit Deshaun Jackson in stride, he's gone. He has the speed for it. Both Jameis Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick just gotta make sure their throws are accurate as it can be. Because as soon as we are full of playmakers. We have O.J. Howard, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, all these guys that they can break a tackle, or if you can just get them the ball, they're gonna break at least one, and the rack percentage is ridiculous. I think Deshaun Jackson was leading the league before this week with an average of 20 yards run after the catch. I mean, that's just ridiculous for any kind of receiver, much less the Tampa Bay explosive offense.
All right, so we all have the Bears and Austin as Bucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
3-1.
All right, and now we come back to the lightning round for this week. Let's just do this quick fire. Houston and Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
I'm going Indianapolis as well.
I got the Colts. Yeah.
All right. Easy sweep.
Okay.
Houston's just been disappointing so far this year. Won't pick them until they prove otherwise.
All right, Jacksonville and the Jets. I'm going Jacksonville defense.
Easy, Jacksonville.
Defense wins games, guys. Easy peasy.
Miami, New England. I'm gonna go with New England. You know, Miami.
It's undefeated. Miami's
Miami's
undefeated.
3-0.
Miami is undefeated, but I don't know. I just don't. I just feel like the Patriots don't let 3 games go away from them.
Yeah, no, I still got Patriots. I don't.
If they lose this game, they are going to have to fight back to win a playoff spot. I'm having Miami just for kicks and giggles of it, though, but we have New England as a
The kicks and
podcast.
giggles.
Yep.
All right, the Browns and the Raiders. I'm gonna go with the Browns. It's Baker Mayfield's
First real
debut.
start.
Yeah, it's his debut as a starter. I think that he comes out, shows what he's made of, and makes the Browns shows them that they didn't make a mistake at drafting him.
I'm going to go with the Browns. I've been a believer and a fan since, way back in 2018. I've believed in them the whole time.
Yeah, I got the Browns too. However, I want to make this very clear. If Baker comes in and has let's say a mediocre game, I'm not gonna take him up the starting lineup.
Oh no.
He's already shown me in just that comeback win what he's got to offer.
Yeah.
But he is a rookie. He's gonna have up and down games. It's just part of the way the game's played. So I got Browns, but even if he doesn't perform as well,
He's
don't
still
take
gonna
him
be a
out.
starter.
Let him
No.
play.
No, I'm behind the hype train of Baker Mayfield.
I feel like Oakland's in the same boat as Houston is. They're going to be constantly picked against until they prove us otherwise that they can win. John Gruden has not came in and done what he's promised. Paid him a lot of money to come out and be very mediocre so far this year. I have Cleveland all the way.
He's got picks.
He's got picks.
He's got picks.
He's got first round picks.
All right.
This is a great game.
The Ravens and the Steelers. That's actually pretty tough. I'm gonna go with the Steelers just because of how well they performed against the Buccaneers tonight.
I need the Steelers to win just so the Ravens don't officially take us over. But I still think it's gonna be the Steelers. I think they won their first game, so now it's just a matter of time before they start winning more and more. However, they have issues they need to address. Every game they've had so far, they've had 12 penalties. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then even tonight they had a veteran player got an unsportsmanlike conduct in the fourth quarter when you don't have to lead by a lot here.
Yeah.
But these are just mistakes that need to be tightened up.
I have Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be a heck of a game. I really hope Baltimore comes out, gives them a fight, but I still think Pittsburgh's got it by a margin of 3 points.
All right, Monday Night Football, Chiefs and Broncos. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, Mahomes doesn't look like he's slowing down. So.
This is an electric offense versus a very good defense, and I'm going defense all the way. I don't think they let Mahomes cut through him like he has on other teams.
The Master Chiefs.
All right, and then Buffalo and Green Bay. I'm gonna go with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is playing, right? Yeah.
Lightning
Green
doesn't
Bay.
strike twice for Buffalo. It's Green Bay all the way.
It's Green Bay.
Green Bay. All right, Eagles and Titans. Eagles.
Carson Wentz is still playing, right?
Yeah, he's still
so
playing.
Eagles, yeah.
Eagles. 49ers and Chargers. Chargers. Garoppolo's
out. Yep, officially out for the season with the ACL, and Richard Sherman's out as well with a calf sprain or something like that, out for a couple weeks.
It's just falling apart.
It's going to be falling apart. If someone who we were very, very hopeful for
Bring back
falling
Colin
apart.
Kaepernick.
Seahawks and Cardinals. Josh Rosen getting his first start against one of the more mediocre defenses in the league. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think that, their run game is too strong for Seattle. I just think that Cardinals win by 3.
I don't agree with you at all, though. The run game for Arizona has been awful, even though they have one of the better running backs in the league. David Johnson had less than 100 yards. I'm going to look it up real quick, actually, but I'll explain to why the Seahawks have Russell Wilson. The line actually showed they can block for him, give him a pocket, even against that Dallas D-line and everything. I feel like things might be coming together a little bit better. Earl Thomas had a massive game. In every game the Seahawks have had, the defense has had one player get more than 1 pick. So, obviously, Legion Boom, while it may be out, is not completely dead yet. But I still believe in them. I just don't think David Johnson is living up to the hype. I don't think he's come back and bounced back like everyone thought he would, especially with only in this against last week against Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
He only had 31 yards for 12 carries. I just don't think that's explosive enough.
I got the Seahawks too. I think the Cardinals have just look terrible to me.
All right.
The Saints and the Giants. Giants really haven't shown much. I'm gonna go with Saints until the Giants can.
The Giants haven't shown anything.
Yeah.
Drew Brees breaks the record for most passing yards this game because the Giants probably won't be able to keep up.
It's easy breezy.
Easy breezy.
Easy breezy.
All right, and that concludes our predictions for Week 4. Now we move into our stories of the week.
I just wanted to talk about Media Day for NBA, more specifically the Pelicans, and how everybody's talking about Anthony Davis will be traded before the All-Star game. False, okay? No way Anthony Davis is getting traded to any team, at all, especially before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
There's nobody the team has to offer that's worth Anthony Davis unless I get Kevin Durant from the Warriors.
And he'll just leave you next year anyways, so...
See, I guess, changing your agent is a big deal. But if anything, it's not a big deal to me for Anthony Davis until your contract's up. Because Davis, I don't know how many times he has to say he wants to be in New Orleans. I don't know how many times the owner has to say he wants Davis in New Orleans. For the people to actually start listening. I swear to God, people just don't listen to anything they have to say. Davis has stated so many times that he wants to win in New Orleans. And had Cousins not been a bitch like he is, this wouldn't have happened.
Even his agent today said, just because he signed with him doesn't mean he wants to leave the team. It just means he signed a new agent.
Yeah.
Doesn't Kawhi Leonard have the same agent? I think he does.
As Davis?
Davis and LeBron.
I know
right?
it's Ben Simmons and LeBron have that agent.
Ben Simmons and LeBron have that agent, yeah.
I don't know. Well, Ben Simmons isn't on the Lakers. So, what's it matter?
Yeah.
You can have the same agent and not be on the same team.
Okay, so I guess the story I want to talk about has a little to do with Media Day with the NBA, but not so much. The only connection to Media Day in this is that my story's about Jimmy Butler, who has refused to attend Media Day. Or I guess he didn't refuse, he asked permission, and they granted him. Which I don't know why you would even want a player who doesn't want to be there at your Media Day. That sounds like a terrible idea. Yeah. I think Minnesota is just dragging this on, and they're making it really ugly. Cat, who you just paid $190 million, in extension, says he wants him out of there. So you listen to the player that you are giving $190 million to all the way, and you don't keep a player who's just going to cause chemistry issues. Yeah. And even if you keep him, you don't find a trade. He's unhappy. He's leaving.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, get something out of him at least.
Exactly, and I know the bargain I guess is a little lower because teams know that he's already got a few teams that he wants to go to. But we saw Paul George didn't go to LA like everybody thought.
Yeah.
He stayed in OKC. So, I think there's a chance that whoever gets him, they can make a strong case. And I mean, you just gotta get him out. Quit delaying the inevitable. You're just making a mistake.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Nets, how good are the Nets next season?
They don't make playoffs.
No, they still don't make playoffs. I don't think Jimmy Butler is that big of a player.
What place
The only reason he wants to go to the Nets, and I don't want to say selfish because this is your job, so get your money. But it's because they have enough money to sign. I think two very large contracts. So he's in it for the money at this point.
Yeah.
Which may be a little Minnesota thing because how much money they just gave Cat, how much money they've already given Wiggins. The money's not there.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's more to the story than just financial reasons why he wants to leave.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler doesn't like Cat and Wiggins, right?
I think
wasn't there rumors about that?
There was a rumor, or maybe not a rumor, but just talks that he wasn't happy with the.
Mindset.
Apparently, Cat wasn't being mature before a game.
Childish,
right?
Him and Ben Simmons were playing a game before they played the Hawks one time.
Yeah,
and he just got upset about that. Yeah.
And it's understandable. Butler, he's getting a little older. He's obviously at the time now where he wants to win.
Yeah.
And you have these players who may not be taken as serious as you, or maybe they are, but you just don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that, but maybe you need to adjust your leadership role.
Yeah.
Because you had issues in Chicago too.
Yeah.
So
well,
I mean,
I feel like if it's under the same, I feel like this Minnesota team is bound to deconstruct it, self-destruct anyways, because it's sort of the same coach, the same players, and he's trying to get all of these old Bulls players back. I don't know. I just feel like it's just bound to happen again.
I think they're falling out of playoffs this year.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And they barely made it last season.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
made it in by a game. Last
Yeah.
game of the season between them and the Nuggets. And the Nuggets this year, they're making playoffs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
somebody's got to drop.
Yeah.
And the Lakers are going to be making playoffs, who didn't. So that's 2 teams now in there. And Minnesota's just the odd one out. The stuff's just going wrong.
Okay, well, who's the other one that's out in the West then?
So Portland, they got swept.
But they were the third seed.
They were, but they got swept.
The Pelicans. Woo-woo!
I don't know. I don't feel like Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum have that good of a season this year. Like,
It's
yeah.
Lillard time. Ew.
Yeah.
Why
I
would
don't-
you do that, Damian Lillard?
I don't like that. Well, who was the last 2 teams? It was the Pelicans.
We tied for 4th, but we were the 6th seed.
Yeah, so it was 6, and then
It was Rockets, Warriors, Blazers, Thunder, Jazz.
That makes sense
Pelicans,
though. I don't
Spurs.
think the Spurs will make it this season either, and it'll be the first time Popovich doesn't make it.
I mean
feel
that's
like-
interesting to me though because DeMar DeRozan, he's proven.
Yeah.
But he's by
Actually,
himself.
well, hold on.
I was about to say, he's
the
proven-
Spurs made it last year without Kawhi. He played, I think, like
He played
16
Yeah,
games?
he didn't play. He only played 16 games.
But that was with
close to-
LeBron in the East.
It was.
And whenever it was, now we've got Denver who's ready to make it to the playoffs.
yes, but Popovich took a team without Kawhi with basically a bunch of nobody. Well, not nobody. He had Tony Parker and whatnot, but
Old people. He had
Yeah.
a bunch of old people.
Yeah.
so now you give him DeMar, who's electric. Like,
Well,
he's good. He's a fresh thing in the NBA because he's a mid-range game. Yeah, that's all he's about. In a league that's all about 3-pointers. So I don't know. I
who
guess I
else
don't want.
falls?
I think
I
we
said
could fall
who
out
else-
to be completely
who else
honest.
falls out?
If Julius
The
Randle and
Pelicans?
Elfrid Payton don't click with our team, we're not making the playoffs, and that kills me on the inside.
I think if Davis, is going to be an MVP candidate, then they make it.
Yeah.
I think this is what's going to be required of Davis this year. He's got to really come out. And, he's a great player, and we've seen nothing but good stuff. But he's got to just take it a little further, and that sounds super, hard and judgmental to say because of how much he's already done. But he's just got to take another step.
Drew Holiday and Nikola Mirotic need to pick it up. I mean, Holiday had a great season last year, but that was only because DeMarcus Cousins went down, and he had to have a good season for us to do good.
Yeah.
He's got to do the same thing, if not better, this season.
And see, Drew's the X factor because we know that he was an All-Star at one point. He was an Eastern Conference All-Star when he played for the 76ers.
Yeah.
So the talent's there, but I think sometimes he just gets lazy. I don't know if lazy is the right word.
He feels like he doesn't need to do as much because he has Anthony Davis on
Yeah,
his team.
yeah,
And whenever he had Cousins on his team too, he was like, it's an easy ride. And then Cousins was out, and he's like, crap, now I have to.
Yeah.
I better kick it into high gear.
Yeah.
Which is sad because how much better could they have been if you got this elite level play for Drew, Davis, and Cousins, and instead you had a player taking off.
Yeah.
Because there's no other word besides say taking off because you saw how good he became.
Mm-hmm.
We got the same players we lost, but worse.
Like watered down version.
Yeah.
Like Elfrid Payton's a watered down version of Rondo,
Yeah.
and Julius Randle's a watered down version with not exactly the
No,
same.
he's completely watered down from Cousins.
Well, not exactly the same like position or type
Yeah.
all the time
Yeah.
as Cousins. But
What's your projected lineup?
the starting lineup,
Mm-hmm.
Elfrid Payton at point guard, Holiday at shooting guard, Moore at small forward, Davis Julius Randle at power forward, and then Davis at center. And they get swapped with Davis and Julius Randle back and forth. That Davis feels more comfortable at power forward.
What about the beardless wonder?
Mirotic doesn't start. We need somebody who's at least pretty good off the bench.
Julius
that can do
Randle's pretty
stuff.
good.
Yeah, but I mean, we need a center too.
I feel like Julius Randle also has an ego that we saw at Kentucky too, where he has to start.
He's
Julius Randle's hungry. The
Yeah.
Lakers disrespected him.
He did way better
And
in
I-
the second half of the
And
season.
I get why,
Yeah.
because he wanted LeBron, so somebody had to go. But they said they said show me why we need you to stay here, and he did. But it wasn't
It wasn't good
them
enough
because you're not
for him,
LeBron.
yeah.
It never mattered what he did.
Yeah.
He was
gone. Yeah.
He didn't
Julius Randle's
sell.
also-
Basically, he didn't sell jerseys, is what it was.
He's also a better defender than Mirotic is.
Yeah.
So, and Mirotic kind of just grabs the ball and immediately throws it up.
Yeah.
So, which is good for our play style. We played the fastest pace in the NBA last season, which hopefully Peyton and Randall can adjust to.
They won't.
Where it's
They
just
won't.
it's gonna get bad. I'm excited to see what happens because I think we can still be. I think we can be about where we were at the end of the season last year. I just don't think if we make it to the playoffs, we'll be as good because we lost playoff Rondo, who is a legendary creature who only appears every few years.
So do you think playoff Rondo and the Lakers, with playoff LeBron, do you think that they mesh well and they make it far in the Western Conference? Or
They'll make it to the
Lakers-
Western Conference Finals.
The Lakers, to me, are getting slept on, and that you see them anywhere from 4 to 7.
Did you see the practice footage the Lakers released with the first time LeBron ever practiced in a Lakers jersey or
I
whatever?
saw the awe that was in all the faces of the young guys.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it was supposed to be a team-wide practice video. If you take LeBron out, it's a 3-second video, or it's a 5-second video of just guys just kind of missing shots.
I'm
Yeah,
just
and it was
saying, look,
wow.
Rondo makes everybody around him better, which is what everybody thinks Lonzo can do. And if Lonzo will be a better Rondo if he can shoot the ball. If Rondo teaches Lonzo how to play his game, and Lonzo gets his shot down,
I like Rondo's
That's
attitude a lot
deadly.
better than
Well, okay, have you guys seen Lonzo's new shot? He's changed
the
it.
same shot that he's been
slightly
doing.
different.
Yeah.
No, it's different. No, it's different. It's not, but you don't want your
That
players to-
weird ass side shot, yeah.
Yes, but I mean, you don't want your players making major tweaks. That's bad. Maybe minor tweaks every season. That's
Lonzo-
much better than doing a major tweak because that hurts you more than it helps you.
Lonzo does need to pick a shot to stick with because he shoots his free throws and his jumpers differently, and that just messes you all up.
To be fair, that doesn't matter. What was it? LeBron shot they've had pre-shot rituals and stuff like that. LeBron switched up 80 different it's something stupid.
well,
He's
hold
had
on,
a
hold
dumb
on.
bunch of
It's different
conversation.
when it's the greatest player of in the game.
He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah,
Yeah, great
he's
point.
earned
He
the
is
right.
basketball.
He
Okay.
is basketball.
I am basketball.
Do we have any predictions of where we think Butler will end up at?
Nets.
I think either the Nets or the Knicks, but I don't know
What
who
was
the
the other
Knicks.
team? Nets, Knicks, and who?
He will not end up at the Knicks this season.
No.
They've already blatantly said they will not trade for him.
Oh.
Yeah, they said they're not going to trade for him because they're confident they can get him in the offseason.
Oh.
So, good point. Why would you trade?
Yeah.
What would you trade in an
Yeah.
But if he gets traded, then
And if Porzingis is hurt the whole season, which he said today, he's not ruling it out, you don't need him this season.
Yeah.
Because you should just let Kevin Knox be Kevin Knox and grow.
Oh yeah.
That's your main focus. And Ntilikina. That's your main focus, is letting
Yeah.
your young guys play. And then next year, Porzingis comes back. Next year, you sign Jimmy Butler. Maybe you snag Kyrie as well.
And then
But
you get a
holy
draft.
God, are
if
you
you
great?
if you get an early draft pick,
Which you will, because you're going to suck.
yeah.
who was
Like-
the third team that offered Jimmy Butler?
Just imagine them getting Zion.
No, Jimmy Butler said he wanted to go to the Nets, Clippers, or Knicks.
The Clippers. They can do that. Oh, what if
There's
Jimmy Butler?
there's no trade. The Clippers, I don't think they have anything to offer.
I mean,
True,
I don't
but-
think that the Clippers would get rid of one of their young guys.
Do you
either.
think Jimmy Butler would sign with the Clippers anyway if Kawhi ends up going to the Clippers?
No, because he wanted to go to the Lakers until LeBron went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
no.
That's
However,
not LeBron, though.
I don't think Butler's one of the guys that likes to share spotlight.
no, there's something
Like-
wrong with his attitude.
Yeah.
Something's wrong there.
Yeah.
Because this is you just can't get along with your own players.
Yeah.
These are the guys, these are your brothers, the chemistry has to be there or you're
Yeah.
It's
unsuccessful.
literally your job to get along.
Yeah, and I think, he name dropped those 3 teams, but then 2 teams that I've seen emerge are the Cavs and the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Heat because Dwayne Wade's there.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that relationship
it's
is.
his last year, but yeah.
I don't know what that relationship is, and then Hassan's there. I
Yeah.
don't really know what they can trade for.
Are the Heat making playoffs?
No,
I think
no,
they do.
no.
And
Are the
you don't
Hornets
think they
making
do in
playoffs?
the East?
Hornets are making the playoffs.
I think that the Heat
Over.
make the playoffs.
Over? I think
Who gets knocked out and Hornets get it?
I don't think the Heat make it. And I am iffy on the Wizards.
Yeah.
Did you
I could
see what is it? Is it Marcus or Markieff who's on the Wizards? Which one's on the Wizards?
Keefe is on the Wizards,
Yeah,
I
'cause
think.
Marcus-
yeah.
He was like, the Celtics have never been better than us. You guys were the 8th seed, like the 7th or 8th seed, and they were the 1st seed without their stars.
See, here's
Like
the thing.
seriously,
Here's the thing about the Wizards. With Dwight on the team, I could see them.
Whoa,
Being-
hold on. Wait a minute. As a non-NBA fan, the Wizards are in the East?
Yes. They're in Washington.
So, the Wizards having Dwight Howard now, who, by the way, is currently injured. So there's a question mark if he even gets to
Or do
start.
they still have Gortat?
no,
No,
yeah,
they
he got
traded him.
traded.
They traded him.
He's on the Clippers, right?
Not sure. Anyways, the thing about the Wizards is that locker room was crap last year.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard
Not a very
not
good locker
known for
personality.
having a good
Yeah,
locker
he
room.
usually, yeah.
And I think a lot of it's, maybe just the media upplaying it more. But I don't know. You got Bradley Beal, John Wall, and Dwight all in the same locker room, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Either they'll be good
What about
or
Michael
they'll be
Porter
crap.
Jr.? Isn't his kind of attitude kind of poo-poo?
Who?
Michael Porter
Jr.
Jr.
You mean Otto Porter?
Yeah, Otto Porter. Jesus Christ.
I haven't really heard
Oh, yeah.
things.
See, I haven't heard it was poo poo. I heard it was more duty.
Honestly, he just kind of looks like a douchebag. I'm just not saying that out there. But see, what I would like to have seen if Cousins was gonna leave, I kind of wanted to see him go to the Wizards just to play with John Wall.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool. But if
That-
I would prefer to see one of the Pelicans. But
Yeah.
I just
Oh
like it.
no! I got either the Heat or the Cavs dropping out. Cavs don't have LeBron anymore, and I think it would take an ungodly season by
For
Kevin
Kevin
Love
Love.
Kevin
Yeah.
Love, yeah.
to get them there.
And Colin Sexton.
You mean
both.
the LeBron killer, Colin Sexton?
Yeah.
See,
I don't
With
know.
or
I
without
don't,
LeBron, I'm the best player
So-
on the team.
so I just think that, I don't think D Wade takes this final season seriously, but they have Whiteside.
D-Wade
and
wants his final.
Yeah.
His farewell.
But they don't even like Hassan there. They're not giving him minutes anymore. That's what
They
they
also
literally
have
didn't play him
Bam.
in the playoffs.
Give me a song. That's what we need.
They also have Bam, and I think Bam's the future in Miami. Honestly.
I think Bam's hit his peak.
I love Bam's story.
I
I
think he
love
is peak.
Bam. He's great.
He might get a little better, but I think he's already.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like maybe 10-10
You
every
think
game,
he's
which
like
is
a
not
mid-
bad. 10-10, but I don't know about much more than that.
Do you think
if
he's
I was
like a
named
middle
Bam,
school
I
boy
would've
and
done that
peaked
tomorrow.
already?
Yeah.
I would just dunk on him and be like, bam.
So
You gotta go.
my story of the week is the University of Kentucky football being ranked for the first time since 2007.
Benny Snell for Heisman.
Yep. I just think it's it's an amazing, and we have the opportunity to play Georgia, both as undefeated teams. It's an amazing thing that could be historic. For people that are fans of the University of Kentucky, not just basketball but also football. It's a change. Kentucky's going to be a multi-sport school, but before the end of this decade.
Benny Snell is great, and he knows it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You gotta love his swagger, especially like I
Yeah.
said, big Twitter guy. I guess always catching him on the feed
Well-
and stuff like that. Just love seeing his attitude, his swagger. I'm super excited to see where he goes because I feel like this is his last year at UK.
Oh yeah,
So-
for sure. I feel like if he tells if I'm Mark Stoops and he tells me I want to stay for my senior year, I rip up his scholarship and say no, go
You're
make
gone.
your
Yeah,
go make your
go
money.
make your money.
See,
Yeah.
I was at this game,
Yeah.
Mississippi State game, and I can't even tell you the number of times the chant Benny just got
Yeah.
thrown around there, and he ate it up. And I can't tell you, the crowd, and this is the first time, in a long time that I've seen Big Blue Nation at a football game.
Since Randall
Be
Cobb.
this excited.
Show out.
Since
Yeah.
Randall Cobb, Tim
And-
Couch maybe.
I think that's like something that Kentucky needs.
Yeah.
You need your fans showing up. They're there for basketball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you need them for football.
The thing
And
is,
the
that's
players are
what's
feeding off of it,
Yeah.
and it's just going to cause like an
Oh
avalanche, a snowball effect,
yeah.
and it's just going to get better and better.
Oh, Kentucky's going to be one of the biggest universities before by the end of probably 5 years.
and that's what's great about like Kentucky in general, football or basketball. Fans are based around the world.
Yeah.
We played in basketball. They played a game in where it was like Dominican Republic or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah. They
over
played in the
summer,
Caribbean.
in the Caribbean, loaded with Big Blue. Like it's ridiculous how many fans Kentucky has out there, and when you can make a home or an away game feel like home, that's a big welcome factor for these kids these guys that are our age, making you feel welcome, making you get that morale boost and everything from the crowd.
So we're 4 games in,
Yeah.
and he's already broken Cobb's record.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the
his
next
career over his career?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but what does that mean for the next great Kentucky running back? That next feat's gonna be really hard to break.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Benny Snell's legacy is gonna be there for a long time.
Yeah. No, he's definitely one of the probably the best person since Tim Couch to come through there. Honestly, Randall Cobb was pretty good, but Tim Couch is drawing Heisman candidacy, and I feel like Benny Snell draws that by the end of the year. People, and
And
that's
that's not yet being talked about, even after
Yeah,
this win. He's
and
not
that's-
in the conversation.
yeah, and
but
that's
the
what I think.
Heisman is a quarterback trophy.
Well,
That's A running back wins it, 1 in 10 years?
Every 10 years.
Yeah, about. Like I said, it's very hard for a running back to win. I think he's got a shot at it, but he's got to play out of his mind. I love Benny Snell. I think he's one of the, I'm not going to say better ones in the NCAA, but
no.
he's very, 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 very good. But it's tough to win Heisman over a quarterback. Very tough.
Well, would you even just be happy with him in the mentions?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see him down there in New York. Like wintertime, just like Lamar was down there when Baker won it. I'd love to see him down there because I feel like he deserves that mention.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if he is, I think that's a big deal for Kentucky recruiting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they need to put on the map
Put 'em
more.
on the map.
You need these fans to start paying attention. You
Yeah.
need these players to start paying attention.
Yep.
And I
Get
think
a lot
those are
more
all
out-of-state
steps in the right
kids.
direction. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to go to our last news story real quick.
Yeah.
We've talked about it countless times. I know I have. I've been very emotional about the whole helmet and quarterback rule and everything. just kind of a hot take. QBs have been, or shouldn't be football players anymore. Shouldn't wear pads. The quarterback has 5 men on every single play whose sole job is to protect him. He has 5 offensive linemen out of 11 guys. That's 45. Let's quick maths. 45% of the offense is personally devoted to protecting one guy. Like, it's ridiculous. They sometimes coaches run schemes to protect him more. They might even throw a back down to make it a 6th guy, make it more than half the people guarding him and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the defense, who oftentimes rushes 4 on maybe 5 or 6 blockers, they can't hit him high, they can't hit him low, they can't take him to the ground. When they slide, you can't touch them. It's getting ridiculous that no player on the field is protected like a quarterback, I guess maybe besides a kicker. The NFL is going to a very much soft game. Clay Matthews is obviously upset with it. Defensive players all around the league are upset with it.
They just don't know what to do anymore.
And that's the thing. Like, you wanna be able to sell tickets and stuff like that, but you got to be able to protect those ticket makers. Like I said, I mean, that's why people buy jerseys from quarterbacks. Like, there definitely needs to be a happy medium reach. I hope this rule's fixed by the end of the year. I feel like it'll be an absolute calling for Roger Goodell's head if it continues like it is. And a new thing that NFL is doing, I guess they took a page out of Trump's book and are live tweeting feedback on calls. Just this weekend alone, they created a new Twitter account and saying, this is the rule that it affects, this is why the ref called it, and this is the correct call, which is something we've never seen, and oftentimes they wait till after the game to comment. And I just think that's unique that they are considering this by the fans, especially a lot of times you get fans that are upset at the call, like, how is this? How is he sweeping his legs here? What else is he supposed to do? And the NFL is kind of trying to combat that a little bit because they're coming up against a very hostile fan base right now.
Well, I mean, I can understand why the fan base is hostile.
Yeah.
You know, so take a look back in the 1970s, right? You have Roger Staubach, Kenny Stabler, you know, all those guys. They, you know, they got hit.
Yes.
Like, that was actual football.
And I'm not saying it should be a free.
Oh, no.
But
no, that was bad.
I know,
no.
but I'm getting to the point now where if I'm a defense player, if I'm Clay Matthews, forget trying to protect the quarterback or forget trying to
tackle him.
Yeah, forget trying to play him. Just absolutely start headhunting.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I would start headhunting because at the end of the day, you're going to catch a foul regardless. You're going to catch 15 yards regardless. You're going to catch a fine regardless. And that's the only thing. The league has gotten soft. The only thing that's gotten hard is the fine slapped on these guys on the defensive side of the ball. So at the end of the day, they should just, like I said, they should just start headhunting quarterbacks because that's what it's going to amount to. Because they're going to catch 15 yards regardless. And at the end of the day, if that's going to help your team win, that could be a legitimate strategy for defenses. And that's what people don't want. People have respect. Just on this Monday night game, you had Gerald McCoy mic'd up against Big Ben. He can't stop himself. You hear him talking, my bad, Ben, in the process of tackling him because he can't stop him, and he gets the 15 yards for it. He's not meaning to do it. He's a nice guy. He's not trying to hurt anybody, but he can't stop, and that's just an unfortunate rule that we have in the NFL that we have to deal with right now.
So here's like the two issues is that fans love defense.
Yeah.
And when you're constantly seeing your team just rack up penalties,
where's
the fun at? And the players are having fun.
Yeah.
We're not having fun watching.
And that's you have a big play. You have an interception, or Deshaun Jackson runs a touchdown back, and you make a big play, and then everyone stops and goes, "Are there any flags down? Any flags down?" Because we gotta make sure if we have to do that again.
That's a good point because that's all I caught myself looking for.
Yeah.
Was
At the end of every single big play,
After
I was
every
like,
big play, everybody. That's my first reaction is where's the flags at?
Yeah, and that was I didn't even think about it until you said it. That was almost every other conversation I was having was Was there a flag?
Yeah.
I didn't see any. I
Yeah.
didn't see any. And then, there it pops up right there at
Yep.
the bottom.
Like at the.
The little
there-
delayed is just the worst one. You get
There,
excited,
there was a
it's
bad
just-
one at the Kentucky game where it was a pass interference,
Mhm.
quotation marks around that, and it was late, right at, the play had already been dead for a while, and then after a while it came out, and everybody was like, what the hell, basically.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, that's just the struggle you get. Like I said, you look for those penalties, and I would love to see the stats. I will look to find it this week of punts which don't result in any kind of flag, because I have yet to see a consistent special teams that can go without a holding penalty, a block in the back, or anything on one punt. It's getting ridiculous, and at this point, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, you might as well just let them punt it. I mean, and let them pin the ball wherever they want to.
Back to the whole, penalties involving hitting. I don't think of myself as an insensitive person.
No.
But at the same time, in the back of my head, I just keep thinking that, you're choosing to play this game.
Yeah.
And I want to protect the players.
Don't pull Avante Davis.
I want to protect the players, but at what point do we just say, this is too much. This isn't football anymore.
It's still football. Yeah, you still got to play football.
Yeah,
you sign up for football.
And I feel like you see that with all these new leagues that are coming around. The CFL is getting sort of bigger. There's a spring league that's getting better. The XFL is coming. The AAF is coming. All of these big all these big leagues are coming within the next 5 years.
That are going to come.
Yeah,
that are going to directly impact the NFL.
They're simpler rules. Yeah, and everybody's like, they might have different rules, but at least we get to see defense. And to go off of what you said, you said that everybody loves defense. I would just like to say that the hardcore football fans like defense. The casual fans like the wow factor offense.
Well, which one do you want to which one do you want to aim towards?
That's what the NFL is. I think they're more aiming towards casual fans.
They're trying to sell tickets, like I said.
Yeah.
No. But like you see one of your favorite quarterbacks, Cam Newton, as anyone's favorite quarterback. He is an absolute monster at 6'4", 245 pounds.
Mm-hmm. And
I was
240, I would venture to say he's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I was looking at him when he was playing the Bengals. The man, I guarantee you, he's got like a flat jacket on. He looks like Kanye in the I Love It video where he's just a big square. Cam Newton, judging by the amount of padding he has on, could take a hit.
Yeah.
And you can see that. He trucks people over. I was looking at sent you guys this stat. He is in a league of his own, as in most people either rush for touchdowns or they pass for touchdowns. It's a very, very strong correlation. Cam Newton's very in the center. He's a very dual threat guy.
I think he went 2 for 2 in the last game.
Yeah,
He did. Yeah.
And like I said, he's
How
great
do you
at
stop
that.
that?
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, especially when he's protected like he is. He's a very good quarterback. But he also has a very big attitude issue, which he's always had. He doesn't dive on that ball in the Super Bowl, which automatically gave him a big...
I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, but then late fourth quarter, he starts mouthing off to the defense or whatever, got an attitude issue like he usually does. But I love watching Cam Newton play. That's the thing. I love seeing him go out, do the super cam, give the football to a young fan. That's the Cam Newton I want to see every night. That's the role model Cam Newton. And then you get the Cam Newton. And that's the thing. I love seeing Cam Newton even after the game, showing up in the Gucci suits and the fresh hats and everything. Love seeing that Cam Newton. And then he goes out, runs his mouth to somebody 15 yards, and it costs his team games or field positioning. And that's what went on that Titans game, that the Titans and Jags game. At that point, that game comes into a positioning game. That's all it is. Who can at least pin them farther back? And when you're costing 15 yards and stuff like that, that's a score.
Yeah.
That's an easy score for a team.
So the last thing I want to say about the penalty is just the difference between the NBA and the NFL is the lack of clarity with their fans. And the NBA is doing everything they can to make the players happy and the fans happy. And the NFL is very far behind that. The NBA, they listen to everybody. And I mean, it might be because they're trying to catch up in viewership. But I don't think it's going to be very long before they do.
Absolutely. That football is very much old school, and new school's coming in knocking at the door. And that's what they need to change the stuff, or they're going to fall behind. We are going to probably, as long as the issue doesn't continue, we're probably going to try and stop mentioning the helmet rules and the unsportsmanlike, not necessarily the unsportsmanlike conduct, because those are always fun to talk about, but the late hits on quarterbacks and stuff, because everyone sees them. We all know they're ridiculous. None of the fans agree, and we don't want to be beating a dead horse. So we are going to try and lead away from that. We might mention it in passing, but no, if we don't talk about it in the future, that's where that's headed.
All right, that concludes this episode of the Final Buzzer podcast. Thank you for listening. Be sure to give us your feedback. Attack us, attack our opinions. Do whatever on
Please,
our.
I'm begging for you to come attack me.
Our Twitter, Final Buzzer Pod, it's Final Buzzer Podcast, and then on Facebook, it's the same @ name. We'll be here same time next week. Hope to see you.